Hello and welcome to another episode of Never Onside. Hi, this is Joseph, and joining me as usual is Mayur. And we are doing this video ahead of Game Week 20, where we'll be previewing the matches, the double game week matches, which are very exciting. To be honest, this is the first time this season we have the big sides doubling. I guess we had Fulham and all doubling last game week, but the biggest question in this game week is definitely, are you a Haaland triple captainer or are you a Haaland captainer? So basically, that is the biggest differential that is going to happen this in this game week, and clearly all throughout the social media handles in Twitter, the discussion has been going on. Are people going to triple captain or not? So Mayur, please take us through what your intuition is.
To help it, we always make sure you follow Ben Krillin. He always comes up with brilliant spreadsheets and everywhere where we can get a good knowledge of what's happening. To give you a gist, City could have four possible game weeks. After yesterday's defeat, it could be coming down to three. So as of now, we don't know when four it will be, but the confirmed one is game week 20, and the rest between those two fixtures is the maximum. Whenever you consider all the other game weeks, double game weeks might come, this is the maximum length of rest they have between those two fixtures. So that's why I feel this is the best way to play the triple captaincy. So I am on Haaland triple captaincy. Apart from this, there will be four as mentioned. One in game week 23. Again, before the start of game week 23, there is a FA Cup round against Arsenal and a Spurs game. So Pep is known to rotate, and Aston Villa is the weakest fixture amongst all. Arsenal, Spurs, Aston Villa, and Arsenal. That is the fixture run. So we can see easily Haaland being rested. So that's why 23 is a no go as of now. 29 is just before, before 29, there is an international break. So most of the people might be ending or dead ending their teams in game week 28, while carding in game week 29 to get a fresh start. So again, looks like you might be wanting to use double uh, uh, wild card than triple captaincy. Game week 34 is again the biggest double game week we know as of now. Again, bench boost comes into the play. So you would be focusing on bench boosting rather than triple captaining. And the last game week possibly is game double game week 37. This is either side of a UCL semi-final. So again, if Chelsea City progresses, then it will be both the games will be like in between the semi-finals. So again, there could be rest. So these are the factors why I think Haaland triple captaincy at this point of time looks the safest in terms of minutes and in terms of there is no other competition apart from those two Premier League games. Host, your thoughts?
Yeah, so that's pretty convincing. You've almost convinced me to triple captain now. So for me, whatever you've said makes a lot of sense. But looking at how City is playing right now, I don't feel that comfortable in captaining a player who I think is the best option if you're triple captaining this season. But in terms of the fixtures they have right now, possibly the two toughest fixtures that you could hope for, maybe Arsenal would be another team that would have been a bit more tougher. So, two teams who I think can kind of sit back and control the City attacking threat. They can somewhat negate it, especially because United have been in a very good run of form. They are unbeaten, or they've won the last 8 matches. And City in the last two games, I have not seen the best of City. Especially they've lost in the EFL as well against Southampton last day, and against Everton also they weren't that great either. So it's something to think about. I'm not fully convinced, just because of the fact that Man City are not at their full flowing best, and towards the end of the season, I think we might get another player or a fixture that we could target like wholeheartedly. But I can see what your point was, and I think it makes sense for those who believe in that, like that those who have already planned their chips according to what you have said, for them to make the triple captain right now.
Yes. Apart from that, next week also United might double, and their fixtures are also very tempting. So initial thought was there, should I go with Rashford, who is in top form? But
Yeah.
again, at the end of the day, you see Haaland and you can't resist yourself from triple
Right,
captaincy.
right, right.
So yes, so that is what we think about Haaland triple captaincy. One is on the Haaland triple captaincy, other one is not. So let's move on to the double game weeks and blank game weeks as of now, which we think. So again, apart from the chart, you can see in the above lines, game week 25 there are two blank fixtures. Game week 28, again the deadline fixture, right? So you have to build your moves accordingly. If you go for a 23 triple captaincy or something like that, then you have to move your chips and transfers accordingly, where you expect like to get points from six fixtures itself. So game week 28 will be a big blank game week, and that is where we will be dead ending our teams. Game week 32, again blank fixtures just before the game week 34 big double game week. So these are the main game weeks which you have to look out for. Game week 28 being the most important, where four blank fixtures are expected. These can easily increase and make it the biggest blank fixture, again making it useful for you to get knowledge about it. Then apart from that, as mentioned, 29 will be a medium double game week, and 37 can be a double game week as well, medium double game week. 34 will be the biggest double game week. So plan your chips accordingly. Was
Right.
anything else, or should we move on?
Yeah, so another thing to note before you head into this double game week, especially because you will be transferring out some of the assets to get in the double game week players. So I'm reading out stats which was put out by the transfer algorithm by Michael Tokwam. So he has pointed out that in game week 21, the likes of Arsenal, Chelsea, Everton, Liverpool have and Brighton are likely to double. And also in 22, United and Leeds can double. And in 23rd, we know that Arsenal and City are going to double. So before you make any transfers, make sure that you follow this Twitter page, the transfer algorithm, and check out who has more probability to double in the coming weeks, and do your transfers accordingly so that you don't transfer out the players who will be doubling in the coming week and getting in a player, especially in a double game week, which is not very tempting for me. For me, this game week is this double game week is not very appealing for me, because most of the teams are playing against the big teams are playing against themselves,
Each other.
and yeah, each other. So it's difficult for me to say that this go for this game week with all guns blazing with all your players. So I don't think that there will be a time when you can target double game weeks better. So that's why I am trying to hold off on my triple captaincy chip. Yeah.
And one more important thing, the only team which we know for sure won't be blanking in 28 is Newcastle. Again, a lot of
Right,
people I am seeing, they are selling their Newcastle assets. So keep in mind,
right,
they have a fixed fixture in game week 28. So yeah, definitely a team to look at. So let's
right.
move on to this week's fixtures. Again, it starts with Manchester Derby, an important game. How's your thoughts? You would be very confident.
Right. So this won't be like the last time when we played City, where we got thrashed, and eventually Anthony scored, and also Marshall scored to take the score to a respectable score. So this time I think it's going to be tough, especially United playing at home are very good. They look defensively solid at home, and I think United have more clean sheets than City this season, and that is something which is like you unfathomable last season, or when Eric Ten Hag came into the picture. So at home they are looking very strong, and City will kind of struggle to uh, you know run through them like how they used to do in the last fixture.
There were
So yeah,
some mind games from Pep as well in the press conference before
yeah,
yesterday's game, saying he can do some things which are
yeah,
unthinkable.
right,
So it will be
right.
really interesting to see how he puts on his team. I think
But
he
I
will
think
put his.
yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, I think he clarified it today, saying that he was just kidding, that he didn't mean. But we all know Pep, he will overthink in these games, and yeah, so
Yes, definitely.
it will definitely be a game to watch. I don't think it's going to be high scoring this time around. So let's wait and watch for that.
Next game, Brighton Liverpool. Again, we have seen Liverpool's defensive worries this season, and
Right.
Brighton have really shown how good they are under De Zerbi, and what we have been always thinking about De Zerbi. So definitely an interesting match. Again, if you are still on Liverpool defenders, I will. It's likely you move on to United assets maybe, or Arsenal defenders.
Yeah.
Again, keeping a faith in Nunes, who's
Nunes,
uh,
I never got him, so I can see why some people are keeping him based on on just the fact that he's getting a lot of chances, and one day he might return like the chances and like score or hole eventually. But this reminds me of that meme where a skeleton is sitting waiting for uh, Nunes to haul. So yeah, a very tricky player to judge. So I wouldn't. I had transferred out all my Liverpool assets way before in
this
the
lump of
season.
form beginning.
Yeah, yeah, right. So
So
it's
next game
very
is
tricky.
yes, next game
Yeah,
is Chelsea Crystal Palace. Again, Chelsea has been struggling, and
yeah,
Crystal Palace from the restart hasn't looked what they are like they were supposed to under Vieira. So it's very confusing, and I think this will be not easy but a good win for Chelsea. And with the introduction of Felix, I don't know what they are doing, collecting all the secondary strikers and doing what I
right,
don't know. Without a striker, so it's really interesting to see how Chelsea plays. But definitely, I think it will be a win for Chelsea. So there are not many Chelsea assets, but if you still hold Mount, decent week to hold him.
right.
Apart from that, the North London derby. Whose thoughts on it? Arsenal, Spurs. Where do you go? Play
Yeah.
your Arsenal
So
assets.
Spurs is a team which is very tricky. Some days they turn up, some days they don't. But at home, I expect them to give a tough fight to Arsenal. Arsenal look very solid even without Jesus. We were expecting them to slump a bit, but Nketiah has somewhat been deputized to do that role, and he has been decent so far. And Odegaard has been exceptional this season. So definitely, an Arsenal win is written on paper, but let's see what Kane can pull off in this match, because that is only Kane and Hoiberg are the two goal scoring players in that team
If
right
any thoughts on Doherty? Looks like he has got his right wing back spot now.
back,
In
right? And
so,
he produced a 14 pointer last game week, I suppose. So
yes.
if you are targeting him, yeah, you can do that. But for me, Spurs is a team who would struggle to keep a clean sheet against sides who can attack
Yes,
well and
basically,
keep pressure.
you
Yeah,
just hope he's a 5 million
yeah, right,
midfielder or attacker. That and
right,
hope for.
right. Just expect the attacking returns. That's all. Yeah,
Next game is Crystal Palace United. Again, as I mentioned, Crystal Palace are not looking very good, and United are
right.
in a really good form. So
Yeah, right.
again, I see easy victory for United. And the
Yeah,
last match is Manchester City versus Spurs. Again, at City, at home, Spurs have conceded around 99 chances through the center. So that is what is a very tempting stat. That's why, like, as a Haaland captainer, a triple captainer, if you want to say. So looks like it would be a good day for Haaland if they are able to get those middle areas exploited, right?
yeah, right,
So
right.
let's
So,
move on to
so a
yes.
game we have missed is Newcastle Fulham,
Hmm.
where which is a single game which you can target actually if you have Newcastle players, even attackers and defenders, because Newcastle has kept the most clean sheet in Premier League. So that's why when we move on to our team, I'll show you what I've done with my team. Yeah.
On that part, let's move on to our team. Yes, so
Right.
go through your team.
So for me, um, uh, from the start of season, I had mentioned that I will be targeting teams who look like top four material or who are like looking really good. So in the first half of the season, I had Arsenal and City. and no United players. But then when I saw that Arsenal were going through a bad run of fixtures, I switched both Saka and Martinelli out and got in the likes of Rashford and De Bruyne. So basically, now what I've done is I think that Newcastle are the side who we can target easily, especially in defense. They offer a lot more value, and someone like an Almiron or Wilson can give you the attacking returns as well. So if you look at your team, you have Almiron, I have Wilson. So that is something that I decided to target on. And right now I have three United players. I'll get in probably three Arsenal players, three City players, and I have three Newcastle players as well. But in the coming weeks before Arsenal doubles and their fixtures turn, I'll get in two or three Arsenal players as well.
uh, so yeah, so as of now, what are your transfers? Have you done your transfers for this week?
No, no, I haven't. I haven't.
What are
So
your planned
I am
transfers?
contemplating Mares, Mount to Mares, but I don't see a huge upside because Mares would play the first game against United and not play the second game, or he might get subbed on. So Mount against Crystal Palace still gives value, considering that Mares might not get both games. Yeah, I think he played in the EFL game too, right? I think so. I'm not sure.
No,
Yeah,
he.
so or he got substituted in. So that is that is the only option I can see right now. I don't trust the City defense enough to have any of them play. Or if you want to go for a City defender, Stones would be my pick because all the others seem to be getting rotated, and Cancelo seems to have lost his place somewhat to Lewis. So tricky situation if you're looking at a defender, and also tricky situation if you're looking at a midfielder as well, because Foden and Mares don't give you that 120 minutes for the whole um, two games, and maximum they would give you is like 100 plus 120, somewhere in that range.
So for me, again, the same team and triple captain. Obviously, 90% I am leaning towards triple captaincy. Apart from that, as host mentioned, I am still on Darwin. So I had two options: either I can just make Darwin to Kane move without taking a hit, or I can move on Mitrovic to Kane and downgrade Cancelo to either Dalot or a Boatman. So I'm still not sure what way I am going. Uh, I'm tempted by Dalot because of his attacking returns. Plus, there might be a possibility they get a double game week next week, right? So
Right.
that is what tempting me. But again, I'm not sure whether I should attack on an United attacker more or a defender, because again there are places where Marshall will be playing just 60, 60, 70 minutes, right?
Right.
So
With
that is
Burgos
what.
coming in as well.
Yes, so that is what going on in my head. Should I go with Delo, who might miss one game in the next 4 or 5 games, but again that's still fine. So those are the two options I'm looking at. I'm certain I will be going with the Cancelo Mitrovic to Kane and either Botman or Dalot. So those are my
So
moves.
you have right now you have four, five double game week players, right?
Five double game week players, and
Right. So
Kane
you
will be
will
the
get
sixth.
six. You'll get
Yes.
the sixth one mostly. So even I have five right now, but I I don't see myself getting in Kane either because of the fixtures. Even though he has been consistent, if you haven't got him so far, then it doesn't make sense for me to get him for these two tough fixtures. So does it make sense for anyone to hold the transfer in this double
Actually,
game week?
I, if you can attack, I think Mount to Mares is a good move, considering like you are on the advantageous side where you have that De Bruyne sorted, Bruno Fernandes sorted, and everything. So I think Mares is a really good move. But again, it's up to you. People, and it's without a hit. So at the end of the day, I can see easily -4 to -8 being taken by those involved
Yeah.
managers. So there
Right.
is a good chance you can go for a free transfer, and then if you feel like it's a bad move, then you can take him out
Yeah.
to maybe a
Yeah.
Saka or someone. but
Right, right.
good way to attack this game week. I am not sure about Foden, but Mahrez is a good option
Yeah,
as
yeah. So that is what I've been thinking. Mount to Mares is my first priority, and looking at my team, I don't see any other place where I should be, adding any double game week players, especially considering the fixtures we have. So 80%, 90% that is going to happen. Mount to Mares.
Yes. And if you have still not joined our league, the league code is mentioned on the screen and in the description box below. Join us and come play with us. So, yes, host, that's it for this video.
Yep.
Hopefully, we have helped you going through the double game week 20, and we'll be back with our pod next week. That's it from us. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.